Welcome to the NFL, rookies. What preseason weekend that we had. We saw all the young quarterbacks playing we got Bryce Young, number one pick, to Aiden O'Connell showing out for the Las Vegas Raiders. Who saw that coming? Plus, we got college football in 9 days. We are hyped about it. And we got the AFC East picks right here. Let's roll.
We're not the starters. We're not even the backups. This is the Third Stringers Podcast.
All right, I'm your host. My name is Noah. With me, I've got my partner in crime, Justin.
Hello. We're
Justin,
back.
Justin, we're back. The NFL's back. The preseason games are back. We saw a lot of stressed out rookie quarterbacks this past weekend, okay? All the first rounds played at least 2 drives. We had Will Levis playing 3 drives from the second round. We had a ton of rookie quarterbacks playing. Almost every single one of them struggled, besides Aiden O'Connell, but we'll get to him, okay? But let's just roll right into it. Let's start with Bryce Young, number 1 pick overall by the Panthers. Panthers traded up to take him number 1 overall with the Bears. Went 4 for 6 for 21 yards and 2 drives. Doesn't sound terrible on paper, 66% completion percentage, but it looked a lot worse as you were watching the game. His line didn't help him at all against that Jets defense. He got lit up, and that was the scare coming into the season, right? Was that he's too small and he's going to get knocked around and injured. The line did not help him in that first game.
Yeah, I mean, that sack did look a little scary, and like you said, he didn't look great, but honestly, my takeaway for him was get some reps in and stay healthy, and it seems like he did that. So in my book, it's a win. I hopefully in his book, it's a win as well. I think, the transition from the college football, sport as it is, right? Because it is a completely different game in some aspects. Transitioning from quarterbacks from there to the NFL, if you're not a physical threat, it's going to be hard. Like Kyler Murray might be the most recent example of kind of the outlier of that, but the smaller quarterbacks, like even Tua a couple of years ago when he started, he was getting thrown around, injury, he's still getting injured. Like that's always going to be a scare for Bryce Young. Hopefully he can just thwart off the threat of injuries as much as possible. And 4 for 6, 21 yards, not bad. Like you said, it's not bad. He just didn't look amazing.
Yeah, he wasn't making those accurate throws, 15 yards down the field that we might have expected from probably the best quarterback that we had last year. That's debatable, but one of the best quarterbacks that we had in college football last year. He looked a little flustered out there. He still made 4 good throws, but he played against professional competition. The Jets played everybody on their defense because they wanted to get some reps in. And Quinnen Williams tore him apart. Sauce Gardner had his number. And it's good that he's facing that now. He faced a good defense, and now he knows what to expect. I expect his game to be elevated in the next preseason game.
Yeah, I agree. And hopefully going into the season, he'll have more confidence, right? Like we were saying, this is literally his first action against another team. He's just got to shake it off, keep going, and he'll be fine. I don't think he did the worst out of these rookie QBs.
You're right. Let's move on to the my personal thought on the worst one this weekend, which is CJ Stroud.
I agree with that.
In 2 drives, he went 2 for 4, 13 yards, and 1 interception.
Yes.
It's a rough outing. I just don't know what to expect here. And this is kind of what I expected from CJ Stroud. It's going to be how he can respond to this, right? He never really saw this pressure besides against probably Michigan. Georgia gave him a little bit of a defensive, like a professionally defensive side of the ball last year. but he really wasn't that like on the run very much last year
Yeah.
at Ohio State. It's a different ball game in the NFL. So
Yeah.
especially with the line that he has right now, it's not the best, and he's going to have to be able to endure that pressure and stand in the pocket and make the throws. Um, he's going to need to elevate his game a little more, and he really doesn't have the wide receivers to help him. His running back's not bad, but just overall, this team's kind of in shambles, and they didn't help him at all.
I agree. I feel bad for him. There's high expectations, of course. He didn't look great, but 2 for 4 isn't terrible, right? It could have went 1 for 4 or 0 for 4. Could have been worse. You're right. His team doesn't really help at all. And honestly, if I'm him, I'm just trying to survive this year. Hopefully, get a couple wins to prove that you can be the starter next season. And other than that, like that's all you can hope for at this point. You're getting dealt the terrible hand, and just kind of deal with it. I'm not. I don't know. I also think judging based off of one preseason game is tough for these QBs, but that's kind of how it is in the NFL, right? You have to prove every game that you're worth it. I think once he gets into games where he can kind of get more repetitions and like a momentum going, he'll start to look better. Other than that, yeah, just survive. Honestly, just survive, CJ.
Yeah, that's how it feels with this team right now, especially with a defensive coach. They drafted a defensive star, third overall, by trading their next first round pick. So he's not going to get first round help next year. It's going to be a rough ride, and he's going to if he wants to excel, he's going to need to do it himself.
Yeah,
because he's not going to get much help.
He's going to need to ball out, and yeah, you're right. Next season's going to be rough too. Yeah, he needs to ball out, and I don't know if that's going to happen. So I feel bad for him.
We'll see. Let's see how he does in this next preseason game. Next up is Anthony Richardson. 7 for 12, 67 yards, 1 interception on 3 drives. He made a couple plays with his legs too to extend drives. He threw a bad interception, which is the highs and lows of Anthony Richardson as a whole. He's just not. He's not fully developed as a passer yet. Everyone sees the potential, but it doesn't tell the whole story because they have a good team around him. They have good wide receivers. They have a good running back if he's playing. We'll see. Yeah. So he has players to help him here. But this was the risk that everyone knew with Anthony Richardson was mistakes that professional quarterbacks typically don't make, but he's learning. And it's going to be there's going to be a learning curve. So we'll see how he does.
Yeah, and I don't know when they officially announced it. It could have been a while ago, but I just heard it like last week that he is officially getting the start. Like you said, he didn't look great, but you can't really teach the athleticism and the ability to run, right? Like you can teach speed, but that's about it. He knows when to run. He can extend plays, and so on that side, he's all right. Like you said, it's his passing IQ, and I've heard that he will study. He'll do the film. So, like you said, he's learning. I think it's a risk for him starting. The bad situation for him, though, is Matt Ryan's gone, right? They got rid of him back in March or whatever. And if he goes down or if he starts losing and that doesn't look promising, Gardner Minshew's his backup. So if I'm the Colts, I'm in a rough. Oh, timeout. Are we good? We're good.
You're good on my end.
Okay. Sorry about that. I'll cut that. So, the tough situation he's in is that Matt Ryan was let go back in March, and his backup, if he's the starter, is Gardner Minshew. So if he goes down or if he's not playing well, Gardner Minshew is going to be taking over. And if I'm the Colts, that worries me. Ideally, they could have cut Matt Ryan for a lower contract or somehow played with that, and then he could have taken his rookie season to learn from a vet and maybe get in games where they're doing decent. But I think, like you said, he has a lot of promise, and if he learns to be a better passer, he gets that IQ up, he knows not to throw those dumb interceptions, he could be a good starting QB in the next 2-3 years.
Yeah, I see that. It's going to be he's going to need some help developing, and the Colts did it right actually because they They have an offensive-minded head coach who will be able to help him. CJ Stroud doesn't have that benefit down in Houston, so it's a different atmosphere. Anthony Richardson has the pieces around him to help. He's definitely got the higher ceiling, so we'll see what happens. But next we got Will Levis. Everyone expected him to go in the first round. Fell to the second round to the Tennessee Titans. He went 9 for 14, 85 yards, and another bad interception, which we're seeing some struggles here with rookie quarterbacks in their first games. We do see this every year, but I swear the interceptions weren't this bad with other rookie QBs.
I guess I can't remember back to the rookie QBs of the previous years, but yeah, it's been looking a little rough. I agree.
It's just they're just bad decisions, which is surprising. I know this wasn't the best quarterback class, but it was better than last year. It just doesn't feel the same.
Yeah, I think Will Levis dropping kind of relieves the pressure off of him, which might be a good thing, in the long run. As for these dumb decisions, it's ideal to get them out of the way now, right? If you're going to make a mistake, make it right now, please God. So in that aspect, you kind of have to just take it for what it is and see, like you said with CJ Stroud, how does he bounce back from it, right? How do all these QBs bounce back? That's going to be the true testament to a rookie quarterback making it, right? So if he comes back next game and plays a couple more drives and does well, hopefully he can carry that throughout the season.
Hope so. And let's get to the feel-good story of the weekend. Aidan O'Connell. I believe he was a fifth-round draft pick.
He was from Iowa, right?
Purdue.
Purdue, my bad.
Another Big Ten school that typically doesn't have good quarterbacks, but he was able to show out a little bit. I got his stats here. He went 15 for 18 for 141 yards and 1 touchdown on 4 drives. 4 drives.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Hey, I don't think you can do much better in your first game.
True. And just so we're clear, he's for the Raiders, right?
Raiders, correct.
Yes. Okay.
And I mean, I think he played himself into that second string quarterback role.
I agree. I mean, he's not going to top Jimmy G, right? We all know that, but he's a contender for sure. And if I'm the Raiders, I'm very excited that just happened.
Especially since Garoppolo just doesn't have a good history with health.
100%.
Gets injured a lot. And if Aidan O'Connell can at least be a system quarterback, basically how Jimmy Garoppolo is,
exactly.
I mean, you got his replacement right there if you need it.
They got lucky. And I mean, again, he has to prove it over next game. Hopefully he does something similar. He plays well. But hey, I mean, Jimmy G goes down. I'm not upset. The season's not ruined if he gets injured, which is very good.
Is this another feel-good story? Kind of like Brock Purdy last year.
Exactly. Maybe
it was against the 49ers.
Kind of a trend. Anyone Jimmy G is quarterback with kind of really shows out. Like Trey Lance, Brock Purdy. Who knows?
It's
the Jimmy G effect.
Who needs a quarterback? Sign Garoppolo for a year and then draft
one. Exactly.
See what happens.
He also learned from the greatest of all time. Bill Belichick, TB. He has to have some tricks up his sleeve.
Maybe he should be a quarterback coach. Who knows?
That's a perfect career move for him. I mean, he basically is half the time.
So. You're right. He's on the sideline half the time. So.
Which is tough.
All right, let's move on to some college football news.
All right.
I guess it's not really news. It's the first AP poll came out. We're 9 days away. Okay, the first AP poll came out. Yeah, it was a pretty good list overall. I agreed with most of them.
Yeah,
Georgia 1, Michigan 2, Ohio State 3, unfortunately.
Hey, at least they're underneath us.
Hey, you're right.
And then Alabama 4, right?
Alabama 4, LSU 5. So who's your biggest surprise team on here?
like you said, I kind of agree with most of the list. And this isn't really a surprise, but seeing TCU drop so low to 17 after being championship game last year where they got stomped on, it doesn't look great for them. They also lost their starting quarterback, right, Max Duggan. So it makes sense, but if I'm TCU, I'm starting off with a chip on my shoulder, saying, "Hey, we beat Michigan last year, and Michigan's number 2 this year. Like, come on, like we deserve a little bit more respect." So I guess that's the biggest quote unquote surprise. Other than that, they're really I like the list. I'm not mad at it at all.
Yeah, TCU was definitely surprising. I expected a drop off, but 17's pretty harsh for a team that
Agreed.
made it to the national championship.
Hmm.
I know they got just absolutely drilled, but it was
Steamrolled.
but they got there, right? That's all that matters.
They
So
beat Michigan, so hey,
yeah, I expected like, maybe 12, 13, 17's pretty harsh.
yeah.
Um, I got three of them. Okay.
Oh, okay. You have three. See,
I
I
have
only had that
three.
one. I'm bad. My bad.
I have three. I've got Penn State at 7. Okay.
Okay.
I like the team that they brought back, but they are putting a lot of faith in Drew Alar, who is the number one rated quarterback last the not this last season, but the season prior in high school.
Okay.
Um, he's from Medina, Ohio, so I actually know quite a bit about him. Um, I watched a lot of his tape, just because of the close proximity.
Hmm.
He's got the talent, but that was at high school. They're putting a lot of faith in a guy who's taking over for a 5-year starter at Penn State. So
Yeah, that's tough.
I I trust me, if he balls out, they have playoff potential. They do. They have the ability to beat Michigan. They have the ability to beat Ohio State. But Drew Alar has to be the X factor, and I just don't know if he's ready to take that step quite yet, especially with Sean Clifford leaving. James Franklin isn't a bad quarterbacks coach, like training quarterbacks,
Yeah.
but I don't know if he's that guy.
Yeah, he's not top tier. We'll say that.
Right, right.
I'm okay
So
with that.
if he's the real deal, they can absolutely, like, this is a good spot for them. I just don't know if he's quite there yet.
All right, all right.
Um, Tennessee at 12.
Oh.
Big hype train, okay? Big hype train. I love it, okay? They're too high. They lost their quarterback, their two wide receivers. They had a terrible defense last year, and they did get a little bit in the transfer portal, but it's still not going to be a good defense. Everyone's a lot of people are saying Georgia upset. No, sorry, that's not going to happen.
I agree with you.
They have no shot. So Tennessee's a little high.
Okay.
And my last one, Texas at 11. We talked about this last week. They need to be higher. They are going to be in the playoff this year.
See, that's not a shock to me. It's not surprising that they're that low right now. I think they'll climb. So yeah, it's not a surprise. I do think they will end up higher in the rankings. So I'm not mad at that either.
I get that. I get that. I'm a little hyped up about the Texas
Oh my
team.
god. Yeah, you love Texas, but screw Tennessee, right?
I'm a little bitter about the Joe Milton leave,
Oh
from
my
Michigan.
god. That's fair. That's fair. I'm not mad at that. Some good storylines to watch out for this season though. We'll follow up on these as the season kicks off.
I love it. I love it, especially with that Texas Alabama game coming so soon. All right, with it being 9 days away, we'll do some predictions next week for the
All
week
right.
0 games.
Oh gosh.
We're gonna do our playoff picks.
All right.
All right.
Are we doing playoff picks now and then predictions next week or predictions now too?
No, we'll do predictions next week,
Okay. Okay. Cool.
but we'll do our who we
Playoffs
think
right
is
now.
going to be in the playoffs. Right? Yep.
All right. Who do you have?
I have Georgia at 1.
All right.
No surprise there.
Okay.
Michigan at 2. Kind of a surprise. I mean, I'm expecting them to beat Ohio State again.
Yeah.
I got Texas at 3,
Okay.
and I got Florida State at 4.
Whoa, Florida State out
I
of
think,
nowhere.
yep. And I think Florida State's going to lose that first game against LSU. Okay,
Okay.
they're going to bounce back, win the rest of the season,
Okay.
and they'll make it as the 4th seed.
Interesting. All right. I have Michigan as number one. I think
Ooh, okay.
they have a shot at undefeated. Georgia at two.
Okay.
Texas at three. Agreed with you there. And I have Alabama at four because I can't write off Alabama. Can't bet against them. Bet against them. Wow, I'm stuttering.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm going to
I
bet against them this year.
Oh,
And
all
I'll tell
right.
you why here in a minute.
Oh gosh. But I think Michigan will be number one, and I think they're going to lose to Alabama.
That'd be devastating for the third year in a row, losing
Yep.
in the first round of the college football playoff.
I think it's going to happen.
That'd be devastating.
Who do you think is going to win
Um,
it all?
I have Michigan winning the whole thing.
Oh
This
wow.
is the year. Okay. I have a couple reasons for this.
Okay.
The whole Jim Harbaugh thing
Oh my
with
god.
the
Oh
yeah
my
with
god.
the recruiting issues, with the allegations against him. They postponed it because the NCAA thinks they have reasonable suspicion for an increased suspension. I
Okay.
think he's going. I think he's going in upset. Okay, and I think he's gonna have his team ready, and they're gonna win the whole thing this year. The problem is, I think he's gonna leave for the NFL after this year.
Okay. Here's my. We're gonna talk about this. Everyone has been saying that since he has joined the team.
You're right. You're
Every
not wrong.
season they're like, "Oh, Harbaugh's going to NFL. Oh, he's retiring. Oh, he's going to NFL. Oh, he's going to NFL. Oh, he's going to be suspended. Oh no, he's going to retire. Oh, he's going to NFL." It's like, what are we saying? He's been at Michigan for so long. I don't think he's gonna go to the NFL. I don't. I think if he wins this year and there's a threat of a suspension, he's done. I think he's done.
See, I think that's the reason why he goes to the NFL. I think
I don't. I don't think he
I
wants
think
to
he
taint his
goes out
legacy.
a winner. You're right, and I think he goes out a winner, and he
He's gonna
says,
get
"You guys
steamrolled
are
in the
really
NFL.
you guys are gonna come at me with these allegations. I'm gonna go to the NFL."
Yeah, and he's gonna get murdered his first 3 seasons, and he's gonna get shipped out, just like Urban Myers.
You're not wrong. He had success. He had some success in the NFL.
Not great success. I mean, I guess he hasn't had great success college football either. I mean, he's been top for a decent amount, but he's been up there, but he hasn't really won. So
He got to the Super Bowl against his brother. He didn't
yeah,
win, but he got to the Super Bowl.
exactly. He didn't win. He can get there, but he can't finish. Um, I don't know. I think he's going to be done after this season if there is going to be an increased um, threat of
Suspension.
suspension. But I don't think he's going to the NFL. I think he'll just retire. I don't know how old he is. I guess that's a factor in it too. I'm assuming he's around 50.
I think it's his mid-50s.
I'm gonna um,
I gotcha.
I'm gonna beat you to it.
You are
He is 59. He's
59.
gonna be 60 next year. Like, come on.
Bill Belichick's like
Yeah,
78.
Bill Belichick's won a bunch of rings. He can keep going. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what ends up with him. Okay, so you have Michigan winning it all
I have Michigan winning it all.
for that reason. I have Alabama winning it all
Ooh.
because, and here's the reasoning, they're kind of the underdogs this year.
They are. They are the underdogs.
And I don't think Nick Saban likes that.
You're not wrong. He is very upset about it.
So he's going to light a fire. It's been, documented that he goes at his players. Rightfully so. He's a winner, right? And he gets them to win and he gets success in the NFL. And I don't think he crosses a line, but he may sometimes. He might cross the line this year and he's going to win. He's going to do whatever it takes to win and prove everyone that Alabama is still the dominant team that they have always been.
This is the last year that the college football scenery is going to be like this.
True.
It's going to be a crazy year, and we're going to see some crazy upsets this year before it's all said and done.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited. I can't wait.
It's going to be a good year for football.
It is. All right, let's roll back into the NFL. We're going to go with our AFC East picks. All right. We're doing the same format that we did last week. We're doing over-under.
All righty. I like
We're
it.
going to start off with the Miami Dolphins. Miami gained Jalen Ramsey, even though he's hurt. He's expected to be back at the end of October. He's going to miss probably 7 games, would be my guess. They did not gain Dalvin Cook, which everyone thought they might. But they're bringing back Tua, a healthy Tua, hopefully. They still got Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill. Their over-under is set at 9.5. What are we thinking? Over-under.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. I think it's going to be under, but not by much. 9 or 8 games. They didn't add much, and hopefully Tua comes back same as before. They were doing great with him at the beginning of last season. I just don't know how it's going to be. So I'm going to say under, but not by much.
I have over. I think they've got a good team, but I think the AFC East is going to kind of cannibalize itself. It's a very tough division, and I just had them slightly over at 10-7. But they're one of the best teams in the AFC right now.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that.
Let's move on to the Buffalo Bills.
Alrighty.
Lost in the divisional round against the Bengals at home. Probably the biggest shock of the playoffs last year. They're set at 10.5. Over-under.
Over. This is their year. Calling it right now.
This is their year.
They're going to the Super Bowl. I don't know if they'll win, but they're going to the Super Bowl.
Okay. I like the call out.
Yeah.
I have over as well. I don't have them as high as you, I think. I've got them at 11-6. Again, just the division. They're going to take some losses against probably the Jets, probably the Dolphins. But they'll still be top in the AFC East. They're not going to have the number 1 seed, but they'll be top of their division.
Okay. We'll see.
We're going to move on to the Patriots. Bill O'Brien's their offensive coordinator. After a horrible season with some defensive coordinators in the offensive coordinator role.
Yes.
Bill, what are you doing? They gained Zeke. They just signed Zeke. That was a big shock. Sounds like they're running games back.
Yep.
They're set at 7.5. Over-under.
I'm going to say under. I think Zeke's cool addition. He'll be a good vet running back. They're not a great team, and I feel bad for saying that. But Mac Jones hasn't proven anything. Bill Belichick's still an X factor, but like we just said, he's getting old. Maybe he's starting to lose it a little bit, lose the edge. And as you've been saying throughout, the division's strong, and I don't think they're going to pull off any wins against the other teams. So we'll see what happens with that. So yeah, under. They're going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL this year, I think.
Wow. That's a hot take.
And that's coming from a Patriots fan. I love Tom Brady there. I like the Patriots, and it's disappointing, but it's what it is.
I think there's a lot of disrespect on the Patriots, specifically on Bill Belichick, because he hasn't won anything since Tom Brady left. They made it to the playoffs once and got their doors blown off by the Bills.
Yeah.
I think Bill's ready. I think he's just ready to leave. I'm going under here too, and I think this is his farewell. And I think I think it's going to be a mutual exit.
Yeah, I agree. It's time, sadly.
It's time. He's not growing with the times. He still wants to run the ball a ton. That's not what the league is anymore.
Yeah. Yep.
Finally, we got the Jets.
Finally.
Aaron Rodgers, Dalvin Cook. They re-signed Quinnen Williams. They got Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson. You name it. They're set at 9.5. Over under.
Gotta be over. I think they'll be strong this year. I just don't know if they'll be top contender. I can't see them beating the Chiefs. I can't see them beating the Bills. So that's my thought on it. They'll be over, but not by a ton.
Really?
I think Dalvin Cook is an X factor though. His sign, I haven't fully processed that. So he definitely helps a tremendous amount. And I forgot who was their running back that was doing well last year?
Brees Hall.
Yes. If he returns and he's still on top of this game, because he got injured at the end of the season, correct?
Yeah, he tore his ACL.
Yeah. So if he comes back, he's still on top of it. Him and Dalvin Cook is a nasty duo. So that'll be. I think they're going to be a good team. I think they're going to be over, but I just don't know how this team's going to mesh.
That's fair. I'm going over for sure.
Yep.
it's a rough start to the season.
Yeah.
They have countless teams that are going to be Super Bowl contenders. Their best start that I see them going at the beginning is 2-4. And this is going to be just a chemistry and a feel for how the fans receive Aaron Rodgers, because I don't see a scenario where it's better than 2-4. And if they reject him and start booing him, like I know the Jets fans like to do with anyone who struggles, Aaron Rodgers is not going to respond well. So they cannot give up early, because they will turn it around and they will have a better end of the season, and it will help them going into the playoffs, going to the Super Bowl. They're going to lose out.
Oh, okay. All right. So you have the Jets going. I have the Bills going. I like it. I like it.
Someone from the AFC East.
Someone will make it, and it cannot be the Patriots, right?
Can't be the Patriots.
Okay.
All right, let's roll into final thoughts. All right, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Pull it up real fast. Okay. Final thoughts. Michael Oher v. the Tuohy family. What's going on? What? So, for those who don't know, the Blindside star Michael Oher was a NFL offensive tackle for I think like 10 seasons. Won a championship with the Ravens in 2012, I believe, is when they won.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Blindside was a movie about him. Was adopted by the Tuohys, quote unquote adopted. He is now coming out and saying that they did not adopt him. It was just a conservatorship, and that he did not receive proper compensation from the family profiting off of him. And for those who aren't into the legality of everything, I had to look this up as well. Conservatorship is they manage his financials, they do all that, but he is not legally part of the family in any way. So they can make deals on his behalf. They can kind of move his money around without him giving the say so. Although I assume it ends at some point. I don't know if it does because of examples like Britney Spears, who was in a conservatorship for so long. I don't know if that actually ends unless it expires. So I don't know what to think of this. Hopefully the claims aren't true. Have you read anything about this?
So it's crazy, right? So when I heard this, I'm like, oh, like it's just coming back up again. Like we heard about this a couple of years ago, how the story behind the Blind Side wasn't completely true, but we didn't really know what.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Okay, like this is they're gonna make a documentary about this type of crazy, like crazy.
What I don't understand is,
so what do you do with the movie now? So do you keep the movie?
You got to keep the movie, and I think if his claims are true, right, because they're just alleged claims at the moment, if he was just a conservatorship and they've been taking money from him, which to their defense, they're lawyers and they have been saying, we have split everything. The lawyers are saying there's a paper trail. Like it's not hard to we can disprove his claims. There's a paper trail. If his claims are true though, they can just renegotiate somehow with the movie company, whatever, the production company, and he gets a different percentage. And then if it is true and his lawsuit passes, I'm assuming they owe him money. I think I saw the number was $15 million, which I don't know how rich the Tuohys are. I don't know how much money they've made off the movie. But that's a lot. So that'd be a good chunk of change if they did screw him over like that. Don't know if they did. If they didn't, I don't know why he's making these claims. This is a very bold thing to come out and say. And I believe I read somewhere that he basically told them, pay me the money or I'm going to come public with this. Which is fair, keep it private first, try to settle it. But they're saying, well, now he's blackmailing us. So now it's just a weird, who do you believe? What are the facts? I don't know. It sounds to me that the lawyer for the Tuohy says we can prove that he's getting his fair share. That's just
so what's crazy about it is what for me, right? Is I heard something where the Tuohy family is not receiving any funds for the movie anymore. Like they're not receiving any royalties anymore. Like they came out and said like basically they got screwed by the production company as well. So if that's true, then there's nothing he can really do against them, against
Yeah.
against the Tuohy family. But I'm assuming he doesn't think that's true. And it's
Yeah.
crazy that he probably was just flipping through paperwork because he thought it was an adoption. And he was probably
Yeah.
just flipping through paperwork and finally read it and saw, oh my gosh, I got screwed. If
Yeah,
it's
and then
true.
the emotional aspect of it too, right? Like he thought he was part of the family the whole time. He claims that it was presented to him back when he was quote unquote adopted, that it was an adoption. So he thought he was in the family this whole time, and now learning that you haven't been and that it appears they're taking advantage of you, that must take an emotional toll. So that sucks if it is true. Feel bad for him. He's also a grown
It's
man now, so I don't know how much it'll affect him, but it is
so
what it is, I guess. I don't know.
so do you make this a fiction movie now?
I mean, so he's already kind of claimed it is fictional in the sense of they kind of portray him as an idiot and that all he can do is play football. And he's like, I was a normal kid. I just didn't have parents that supported me. Like, I wasn't dumb. Like, I went to school. I was fine. So, in that sense, there are fictional aspects. I mean, I don't know. Any movie that's based off true events has some truth to it, sure, but I'm not claiming it as an like autobiography or something like that.
Right, right.
It
It's
just
not a
kind of sucks that it's
documentary.
portrayed that way. Yeah, exactly. So, like, Sandra Bullock was not his mom, you know?
Right,
Come
right, right,
on.
right.
So,
That's
I
what's
mean,
also
it sucks
crazy,
for
right?
him.
She won like an Emmy or whatever
She won
the
an Emmy.
yeah. Like,
Yeah.
do you take that back now?
No, she didn't do anything wrong, unless she knew about it, but she didn't know. I'm assuming she didn't know, right? Why would she
She
even
would.
ask?
There's no way she would have known. There's no way she would have
No, that would be so disrespectful. Be like, okay, but is he actually like? Did you actually do this? Like, that's
known.
you can't do that. So hopefully it gets settled and everything gets figured out, and his relationship with that family is squared away, and hopefully bridges aren't totally burned. But if they are screwing him over, you're right. This will be a documentary. This will be crazy. This will be insane if it ends up they've been keeping millions from him all these years, and it was all based on a lie. And oh my god, I can see it now. It's crazy.
We'll see it on Unrated and Untold on Netflix here in about 10 years. Which
100%.
shout out, go watch the Johnny Manziel documentary on
I've heard
Netflix.
about it. I want to watch that. I haven't seen it yet.
I'm gonna watch it. I've started watching the quarterback show.
You watched episode one?
I'm
Was it
about
cool?
oh yeah. I'm on like episode 4, I think.
Oh
I
wow,
had
you passed
just
me.
I just saw the crazy Justin Jefferson catch.
Oh, don't tell me. Don't tell me.
We always saw that
Well, I know that,
last
but I don't
year.
want to know anything else about it. I don't
Oh,
want to
okay,
know
okay,
like
okay.
reactions or anything.
Okay, yeah,
I
yeah,
know
that's
it
fair,
catch.
yeah, that's fair, that's fair.
All right,
But
cool.
oh yeah, it's crazy.
I'm excited.
It's great.
All
They
right,
did a
your
great
turn.
job. All right. So the NFL is in consideration of taking the XFL kickoff strategy.
Ooh, I like that.
So that the teams line up about 10 yards separate of each other, closer to the receiving team's end zone. I believe that the opposing team starts on the 30-yard line. Maybe it's the 40, and the receiving team starts 10 yards deeper than that.
Okay.
It's going to save a lot of injuries, and it's actually a very nice strategy. Rather than completely
Yeah.
getting rid of the kickoff like the NFL wanted to do, this at least keeps the action interesting. I don't know how they would do an onside kick. Maybe they would just get rid of the onside kick. But it's very interesting. I love this.
Yeah, I thought about this when the XFL started. I mean, I know there's been leagues kind of in and out the last 10 years, but XFL kind of seemed like it had a big resurgence past couple of years. And when they were coming in, I was like, there's no way this is going to be a successful league. But the NFL can take the best parts of it and kind of twist it and mooch it and take it as their own. So seeing that they're actually doing that is exciting. Yeah, the loss of the onside is going to kind of be brutal, though, because that was always an exciting moment. End of the game, you score the one down touchdown, and now you're going for the tie kick or whatever. Yeah, that's kind of brutal, but keeps players healthy and keeps the kickoff intact. I'm not mad at that. I like that a lot, actually. I wonder what else they can steal from the XFL.
Right, right. They still have quite a few players. I'm not gonna lie.
That's
Um,
fair.
I think the XFL just needs to somehow stay alive. Maybe take some of these quarterbacks that aren't doing very well. Hopefully they can like kind of resurge their career with the XFL.
Yeah.
PJ Walker was a great example. He was the MVP the COVID year
Oh, nice.
and ended up on the Carolina Panthers and actually didn't do too bad for them as a backup. So who knows? Maybe Dwayne Johnson will keep this alive.
Yeah, I know a big critic of the league, I think this past year, was that they played all their games in Atlanta. It's like,
Yeah,
that's dumb. Like, what are you doing? I guess it's easier logistically, but like, you need fans to come see, and I'm assuming there's not enough fans in Atlanta to go see every game and want to see every game. Who cares about the Michigan Panthers, right? If you live in Atlanta, I think they're the Michigan Panthers. I don't even remember the name.
yeah. That was a weird decision.
Yeah.
Maybe even splitting it up. Having a team maybe in Philly, maybe New York City, and then Atlanta, maybe DC, because they're all pretty close together where the logistics aren't crazy. You could take a bus ride, like you
Yeah,
wouldn't have to take a plane ride.
exactly.
So maybe that's something that they should pursue, or maybe just keeping it all in the Southeast.
Yeah.
It's it's something to consider for them.
Yeah, they need to expand a little bit. They can't just be one
Yeah,
stadium. That's weird.
yeah, yeah. Especially if that fan base gets really bored of it, they're just not going to come back.
Exactly. Very strange, but yeah, I like seeing the smaller leagues try to break through and make it. That excites me. Like Big Three, great example of that. Kind of twisted the game to their.
Honestly thrilling. It's
Yeah,
honestly thrilling.
it's great. It's great. I love it. I'm excited to see how the XFL progresses.
All right, guys. Next week, it's college football week.
Let's go.
It's going to be 90% college football, 10% NFL. We'll throw in some final thoughts there too.
For sure, of course. And then another quick announcement: third stringers. ESPN Fantasy Football is now open for you to sign up. The link to that will be in our Instagram bio, and I'll put it in the link in the YouTube description as well. So if you want to join, we are doing a cash prize again. I believe $50. We might make it 100. So see if you can beat one of the third stringers in some fantasy football.
You got to come ready to play.
Yes, you
That's
do.
all I got to say.
I will not do great, but we won't talk about that right now.
All right, guys. See you next week.
See ya.